Hello, and welcome to the personal branding and social media presentation. I am Davin Miller. I'm the Assistant Director of Career Development in the Career Services Office here at the University of Toledo. First things first, we'll go ahead and talk about the different aspects that we have in our office, and then we'll get right into the subject at hand. So what we offer in the Career Services Office is a wide variety of different services uh, as they relate to professional development. As most people typically know us from, is resumes and cover letters and editing those. However, we host a lot of information as it relates to other professional development topics. That would be mock interviewing, as well as looking at social media and making sure branding is correct there. But we also provide presentations in classrooms, helping with job searches, and actually just helping people understand and articulate where they want to go with their particular career or major choice. So what you'll learn today is what is a personal brand, let alone what is branding in general. Also, why is a personal brand important, and as well as how to develop and enhance a personal brand with your social media. So first, what is branding? It's a marketing practice that's created basically allowing companies or any particular item to have symbols, names, images that identify a company or item that will make them different from other items, companies, or what have you in their industry. Uh, and if you think about it, a personal brand is very similar in the fact that we live and work in an environment where competition is important, but we're also always trying to be the one that's chosen. So right now, especially any of you that are seniors or anyone that's looking for a job, you're in competition with the people that you're applying for a job with. So a personal brand will help you differentiate yourself away from the other people that may be applying for positions or whatever you're trying to apply for. So it's establishing and promoting a person's unique skills, experiences, attributes, and more that make the individual stand out from others. So corporate branding is what we see quite a bit of. It's we're pretty much pumped the different images, the different sayings, and so on and so forth to help us identify who companies are. So if you pay attention to the left side of, or excuse me, the right side of your screen, you'll see a lot of different brands and companies that you're very familiar with, not only from Nike, Apple, McDonald's, Reebok, Dyson, all kinds of companies that you may be familiar with. And as I say those, you automatically think of what that means to you. So whether that's prestige, whether that's quality, whether that's what the company does or what they produce. Also, how the company can help you is also something that pops into your head. Once I say Hoover, you automatically know that it's a vacuum brand. If I need a vacuum, that's possibly one of the choices that I have. So it's very synonymous with that. What we know about the company and their branding and images have given us an idea of how we want to select or use their product and if we feel good about them or bad about them or whether or not that's what we want to choose. So it's very, corporate branding is something that we're super used to. Now, as it relates to personal branding, we don't think about this very often, but everything that you do, what in education, in your major, just across the board in your interactions in higher education or really anywhere, it's creating a brand for you. And a lot of students and people don't necessarily think of that as a way to put their next best foot forward. We just kind of live and exist and don't necessarily think about what our actions are and how that's creating a brand for us. But taking control of your personal brand and building your personal brand will be very important because all of the things that we were mentioning relating to businesses is the same thing with a personal brand. You need to think about and you want people to understand who you are, what you know, what can you do, the quality of your services, what do you represent, and if you're a good fit for that company or organization or what have you. So all of these elements are part of personal brands as well as the same branding that companies typically use as well. Why is personal branding important? And those of you may ask about that. It's really the competition, and I've said that already. When you're thinking about University of Toledo, and kind of the area that you're thinking about, that you're in right now, we have 8,000, opportunities in Handshake alone that's active at this current moment. We've approved or allowed 39,000 jobs to be posted in Handshake this past year, which is a huge amount. When you think about it, these are just postings, which a lot of the postings actually have positions for more than one. So if you think about each one of those with two, that is almost 80,000 jobs that are being posted in a sense here on your job posting platform that you have on campus here. So it's a vast array of those positions are being filled across the board. Also, there's 15 to 20,000 students here at the University of Toledo, as well as a good portion, somewhere between 500 and 1,000 students are graduating each semester, which are all in a sense competing against you as it relates to different positions that may be out there. You may not be against all of them, but there's a good portion of them that may be looking for the same type of position that you are in competition with. And it's approximately 3 million graduates nationally that are graduating this semester, which is a staggering amount. And it just goes to say that there's plenty of jobs that are out there. I know in our particular situation right now with COVID-19 that the job market seems a little unstable, and which it is. However, every job market or every industry is different as it relates to jobs that are out there. So please don't be discouraged or what have you as it relates to what's happening with the job market, because your particular area may still be hiring and really moving forward with positions to be filled. A lot of the recruiters that we spoke to so far has mentioned to us that they're still recruiting positions. Some of the companies are converting their positions to remote work and want to continue to fill those opportunities that they have. So stay diligent in that. And that's another prime example of why personal branding is essential to this entire to your entire education experience, because you need to compete to find and obtain the jobs that you're looking for, as opposed to someone else being picked for the position that you really want. All right, so since we've covered everything of what a brand is or personal brand is, how we would kind of segue into how to create and manage a personal brand, and looking at social media and how that plays a part in what you should do in those aspects or that area. So being proactive and building your brand is very important. And we were talking about that before. A lot of us have brands out there, but we aren't necessarily harnessing the ability to cultivate that and mold that into a brand that we think is important and that we want people to know about us. But these are some of the things you should think about as you build the brand, instead of the brand kind of in a sense building you. But first thing is to explore your career. A lot of times we don't make this choice, or especially if you're in a major, you may not have thought about it in this perspective. But just taking the instance of one major, just say for instance you're a journalism major, what can you do within that industry area? Is that writing? Is that editing? Is that copy editing? Is that technical writing? There's a bunch of different areas that you can get into, but you really should start exploring that as early as possible, so you can figure out what's going to be very interesting to you. A couple of steps down, you'll see finding your industry passion, your personal passion. These things help cultivate who you are, cultivate your personal brand, not only professionally, but also personally. Learning what qualities and skills that you need to have for your particular industry definitely helps you build and pull together exactly what you need to be in order, or what you need to achieve in order to be the best candidate for a position. So understanding and knowing what those skills are, and also developing those as you move forward through your career. And if you're a senior getting ready to graduate, start thinking about those qualities that you have in order to present to an employer, not only on your resume, but on your social media as well. Getting involved on campus and in your industry. Hopefully, seniors, you've been involved in different organizations on campus, but if you haven't, I would definitely get involved with your professional organization. That's a great way to network and look for jobs as well. It's a great place also for you to start putting that best foot forward and building that brand and getting your brand out there. Also maximize your participating in meetings maximize your participation in meetings and groups that allows you to be active and also allows you to learn new things, how to be a leader, also communication skills, team skills, thinking globally, taking responsibility for different things that all build upon your character and who you are as it relates to your particular brand. Also, networking with professionals, and like I was saying before, getting involved with your particular professional organization, as well as any other organization that you may be familiar with and passionate with, because all those things will be a part of not only your brand, but also what you want to display for your particular social media, and staying relevant and really being the pulse, having your finger on the pulse of what's happening in your particular industry. Right now, we know in information technology or IT or what have you, we know that a lot of software platforms as it relates to video conferencing, sharing things, working on documents, all those types of positions that may be surrounding that infrastructure is very popular right now. A lot of employers are looking for those skills. So you just never know. Having that information and being relevant on what's happening in your particular area definitely helps you design your path as you look to be promoted, as you look to obtain a new job, as you look to internships and so on and so forth. Next, making sure that you promote that. And that's what we're kind of leading to before, is gathering all the information from building your brand that I discussed before, but taking those elements and getting them out there. And that's part of the entire process of having your own personal brand, is really being able to put your best foot forward in front of everyone else. So maintaining that professional image and your in person as well as online, promoting your accomplishments, and that could be various ways. I mentioned earlier on resumes. LinkedIn is a great place for you to start promoting yourself and building that particular personal brand for yourself. You've probably seen, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, you've probably seen where people are actively participating in clubs and organizations, talking about and sharing different aspects that are related to their particular industry. Just say, for instance, myself and Shannon and Mickey that works in our office, the assistant director of internships and employer relations, does a great job with posting different job opportunities and things that are related to her particular area. So that's what you're doing on LinkedIn, really putting your best foot forward and getting involved in your particular content area. And same thing with Upwork. We've noticed, and we're seeing a lot of reports from different outlets or media outlets saying that contracting or being a individual contractor is starting to be something that's very appealing to the current generation, as well as we move forward in the next couple of years, you'll have a lot of people who will be doing contracting on their own. And I know you're probably thinking, wow, what does this mean? What do you mean by contracting? But if you really understand that being an Uber driver, doing DoorDash, working on being a photographer and not necessarily being a part of a company and someone's contracting that out to you. Airbnb, all of these particular things are subcontracts, and you're being a contractor in a sense. So you're freelance working outside of being tied to a particular company where you're working every day, and so on and so forth. Upwork is one of those platforms that allows you to provide what services you have in order for someone to take up on those services, and whether that's driving, whether that's building things, whether that's programming, whether that's writing, editing, so on and so forth. So that subcontracting portion, you have to make sure that you are displaying a good quality product for a potential customer, or if you're just looking for a job, a potential employer. Also, communicating that information effectively. So making sure you're staying away to some different elements, and we'll discuss that a little bit later. Also, having a positive attitude. You want to make sure that that's displayed not only in person, but also on your media outlets. Choosing your company wisely. The people that you hang out with is very important as well. You want to make sure that you're staying away from negativity and making sure that you have good relationships with people. I'm well aware of just never know what kind of backgrounds your friends are. And some of your friends are great, but just be very, very important, be very aware of what that could mean as it relates to you and your future. Also making sure that you're dressing and acting the part, not only in person, but also online. is a great tool, a great thing to think about as you move forward in creating your personal brand. All right, so making sure in your proactiveness is cleaning up your social media. A lot of times, especially current students, have had a chance to have social media around for a very long time. And who you are now is different from who you were, let's say 5, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So what you want to do is pay attention or go back through and really take one of your software platforms or your social media platforms and go through and pay attention to what you have there. So the first thing to do is really to search yourself to see exactly what that looks like for you, what comes up in the Google search or whatever search engine that you use. You want to make sure that if you are able to remove any images or anything that may be less than favorable in your light. So really pay attention to all of those particular things. And I actually listed there on your screen a list of areas that you may want to stay away from as it relates to your social media. So you want to make sure that any of the things you are putting out there don't fall in these particular areas. So you see unfavorable behavior, communication styles, drinking, drug use, criminal behavior, polarizing views. This is something that's very important, especially the particular climate that we're in now. There's a lot of people having a lot of feedback, a lot of answers about things. And if you're passionate about something, you're passionate about something, and that's perfectly okay. But just being very aware of you're promoting something that would have polarizing views as it relates to everyone else. I would say a good example would be: are you a person that thinks the Earth is round or square? Thinking the Earth is square is a very polarizing idea. So you may want to stay away from any posts or things that identify that. Also, sexually explicit material, violence, bullying, all kinds of things that you can think of that would be negative in nature. You may want to stay away from that. And looking at your social media as you comb through and clean some things, you want to remove those items as much as possible. Removing tags that also may be along the lines of those areas, and talking to your friends and saying if they tagged you in something, you may want to remove the tag, which you can do yourself. But if there's a photo or something of that nature that you wouldn't mind being taken down, a lot of people will take those down, especially if they're your friends. They'll definitely help you in that process to maintain a positive outlook. And in most cases, you can always untag yourself. But I do believe in most cases, if you reach out, your friends will definitely help you as you move on your journey because they want you to be successful just as well as you want to be successful. All right. So next thing is designing your social media. There's a couple of different ideas and some pointers that I would recommend for you to do as you build your social media. You'll see here on the left side of your screen is a snippet of actually a UT alum's LinkedIn profile, and it's very neat, clean. It doesn't have to be a professionally taken photo. You see that it's still professional in nature. She's smiling. And she also has a lot of the information that she has there at the very top of her LinkedIn profile, talking about what she's done and what kind of her personal summary, if you will, which is very much a part of the brand. But what you want to make sure to do is complete your profile thoroughly, and that's not only on LinkedIn, but that's also on your Facebook, your other platforms you may be utilizing as well, on Upwork, if you're using other job search platforms, and that's Indeed, Handshake, all these particular areas. Make sure that you complete your profiles thoroughly. A lot of employers are very aware and want to know as much information about you. So making sure that you have all those elements, all of your skills, all of your experiences displayed properly, an employer can really make a good opinion about you as it relates to filling your position. Making sure your images are up to par, if you will, that they are professional in nature, but not necessarily professional taken, which is very important, or professionally shot is what I want to say. That just making sure that it looks nice and well and it doesn't fall in those categories from the last slide. Also making sure that you are following, liking, and sharing content that's related to your particular brand. So if you are, just say for instance, an environmental science major and you want to talk about new ways of recycling, or there's a new initiative as it relates to food products and how does that affect the land, and so on and so forth. So sharing, liking any posts of that nature, having your opinions is perfectly great to utilize as well. And really being active in your industry. This is probably more of a LinkedIn profile type of outlook and thing to do, but there's several other locations, i.e. your personal social media you could be following, as well as answering questions and sharing some of the things as it relates to your professional outlook. Also, posting your accomplishments. This is a great way to do that as well. You've probably achieved quite a bit of things over the time that you have been in high school or in college. Making sure you put that out there and really showing people who you are as it relates to your career and really who you are as a person as well. A lot of employers are looking to hire to fill their positions, but we don't really think about it in this way. A lot of times we think about our resumes as this list of all of our experiences. It's very robotic and kind of dry. But an employer is not only looking for the skills, they're also looking for people. So sharing about your personal accomplishments, your accomplishments in education, things that you're interested in, that you're passionate about, like I was saying before, employers love to see that. We've had several people tell us stories about not knowing exactly why they were chosen for jobs, but having discussing something just personal as cooking or what have you during their interview process, they've learned that that was one of the reasons why they have possibly gotten the position, because they shared an interest with someone inside of the office. They really want to make sure that you're a good person, a good fit for their particular environment. And it's more than just your skills, but it's also you as a person. And that's where your brand is very important to shine through. Also, connecting with others. The networking aspect of just social network and social media is paramount. It's a great way for you to not only put your brand out there, but it also allows you to help other people with their brands, especially with reviewing people on LinkedIn is one way to do that. Also, connecting with your network will allow you to have other ways of finding positions, whether that's internships or full-time positions or just positions on different executive boards and so on and so forth. So connecting with others and understanding that communication style and being professional, allowing it to be professional in nature, could also allow you to display your brand as a new connection, but also allow the next person to be able to talk about you in a positive light because you have displayed your brand so well. So the networking aspect to that is great when it comes to promoting your personal brand. So in the regards of being timeful and manageable in time, I want to make this video as short as possible. However, you always have the ability to reach out to us in the Office of Career Services to continue the conversation, help you look at your social media as well as your personal brand. If you have no idea of what you want to go or what areas you want to go inside of your industry, we're more than happy to help you with that. Any of those steps you can take in order to make you the best candidate for the position, our office is always there to help you. You'll see our information of our physical location, which right now we're all virtual. So if you'll definitely reach out to or visit our website, it'll actually show you exactly what you need to do to contact us and finish this conversation out and making sure that you're the best candidate for the position. We also have other sister offices on campus. In College of Business, there's the business career programs. You're able to reach out to them via their website. And if you go to our website, the main career services office, you'll be able to reach them as well. And in the College of Engineering, the Shaw Center for Engineering Career Development is also linked through our page as well for all of our engineering students. And all of our offices can help you build your brand and help you display that to your particular industry area. You can also contact us via our email address, as well as follow us on social media. Following us on social media will help you tremendously. We have quite a few tips and tricks, as well as small videos and things of that nature that could help you along the way. It's super easy and manageable. We also provide different opportunities, so job opportunities, internship opportunities, all kinds of things. So definitely follow us on social media. It's a great place to really passively ingest a lot of the things that we have available for you in career services. So with that being said, I have a few questions that were submitted about personal branding, but one of them is that I've spoken extensively about building your personal brand. which seems to effectively transform your personality and values into a product that can be confining, saying that this serves as a way for you to possibly alienate yourself from your other counterparts in your particular degree program. But what I say to that particular question is that you may not, just because you're in competition with others around you, just say for instance your classmates and so on and so forth, as it relates to you building your brand, it doesn't mean that you're kind of working or building your brand in a competitive way where you're always trying to beat your particular classmates. It's more about a competition for yourself to be the best candidate for a position. So it's closely related towards you moving forward for your future instead of it being a competitive team effort where you're competing right now. So what you want to think about is that your classmates are really your team. A lot of times you have different positions in teams, and everyone has different strengths. It's the same situation in this regard as well. You're building your brand, your niche, your set of skills. Your counterparts in your classroom are doing the exact same thing. So what you want to do is making sure that you're also helping each other build your strengths as you move forward. And as you apply for jobs, every job will have a different skill. Everyone will be different for each position and will be qualified for a position depending on the skills that they have. So what you want to do is when it comes to game time, applying for the position, you want to make sure that all the skills and assets that you have is the best that you have and the best that you can give the employer. Your counterpart will do the same thing, and the employer will have the ability to make that decision and not necessarily making it as a actual fight or physical fight or mental fight with your peers, because they're always going to help you. There could be a situation where your peer could actually hire you for a position as well. That has happened to me, and I've hired a peer from my past as well for something that I'm doing for the future. So always maintain that good connection. That's where that networking piece is very important about your brand, because you just never know when someone will call you or email you and say, hey, I remember you being really good at this particular topic. We have a position open. Would you mind filling out the application for that? So they could be an asset. Your teammates could be an asset to you or your classmates. Excuse me. Let's see. Hmm. So one of the questions is, what would we suggest for you to say when an employer asks in an interview, tell me about yourself? So this is a great place for your brand. This is very brand oriented. A lot of times we know to talk about our professional and academic activities, and that's what we would say you should kind of wrap your package along the lines of. However, I always recommend to provide some type of unique element about yourself as it relates to what they're looking for. So maybe that's for myself, I'm a really good communicator. I really like to establish good relationships with people, and being a part of the team is something that I'm very passionate about. And I would also provide not only that some uniqueness about how you work and what that looks like, especially if it's a positive attribute, but also if you have something that's very unique about yourself. One thing that's very unique about me is that I can solve an Rubik's Cube. That's not good. It's no way possible to think about that in a negative way. I guess maybe there is. However, it's more of something that may be very interesting to me, not interesting to people. Not a lot of people are able to solve a Rubik's Cube. So that may be something that you can give and talk to an employer as well. And that could be a lot of different things. It's more than a Rubik's Cube. I've had a student tell me that they've read 100 books in a year, which is very unique. I've had people talk about maybe a popular TV show that's not negative in nature, that they're obsessed with and really enjoy that. If someone just interested in making Pinterest crafts or making different types of food, it could really be anything, just showing your uniqueness and that you're a person, as well as all of the skills and attributes that you currently have. So that's all the questions that I have currently now. If you have any questions after watching this particular webinar or video, you can also reach out to us, as I was saying before, either via social media or our email address. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.